All right, listen up, you absolute buffoons. You cretin. Is it cretin or cretin? I don't actually know if it's cretin or cretin. You absolute dinguses. Please look at this unimaginable horseshit. Proposed U.S. law could slap Twitch streamers, that means me too, with felonies for broadcasting copyrighted material. I really want you to reflect on this. Felonies for broadcasting copyrighted material. Here, this article is very sarcastic. Let me just run through a couple of the points. The U.S. government is, as we know, extremely functional. It's so functional, in fact, that it regularly struggles to pass spending bills in order to prevent itself from shutting down. Blah, blah, blah. One of these bills would turn unauthorized streaming of copyrighted material into a felony. According to Politico Offshoot Protocol, the felony streaming proposal is the work of Republican Senator Tom Tillis, who has backed similar proposals previously. It is more or less exactly what it sounds like. A proposal to turn unauthorized commercial streaming of copyrighted material. Progressive policy publication The American Prospect specifically points to examples like an album on YouTube, a video clip on Twitch, or a song in an Instagram story into a felony offense with a possible prison sentence. Here's the thing. I know what you all were thinking. We didn't have enough people in our prisons. This is insane. This is actually deranged. This is the product of illness. First of all, oh God, it feels like, do I need to explain how this is bad? Okay, so first of all, obviously this would kill all forms of online engagement because nobody's going to risk a prison sentence at all. All the funny YouTube videos you like, nope, they're done. Is it not sarcasm? No, it's not sarcasm. All the YouTube videos you like with the funny music and stuff, it's done. All meme culture is gone, by the way. They're coming after you. Is Nintendo behind this? This does feel like a Nintendo move. This actually gives way to a bunch of, by the way, what this means, anything with public protesting, you know, here's what you got to do. You find Steven Crowder, he's doing his Change My Mind stream or whatever. You go over there and start blasting like some fucking sonic hip hop beats in your phone. Then the US government catches wind of that. They phone Nintendo and they send a squad over and beat him to death. And then you to death because you're the one who played it. And then Nintendo just kills the US government. Look, this is absolutely deranged. Obviously, this would kill all streaming. But like, how far are we meant to go here with copyright law? There are so many problems with copyright law. I don't even know where to begin with this. Okay, let's break this down methodically. Okay, it's not just about ending streaming as we know it. Okay, it's not just about that. Okay, it's about a fundamental misunderstanding of the relationship that media has to commercial resources. Okay, so first of all, this wouldn't benefit corporations at all. Corporations would not benefit from a complete shutdown of all internet discussion of media that they copyrighted. Okay, believe it or not, one of the biggest hype drivers of new movies and video games and albums and everything is the ability to sample them or the ability to feature them in memes or any of that crap, okay? Now, obviously, there's variance with this, and there are legitimate instances of people misusing copyright. Fair use exists for a reason. Here's the thing. Fair use isn't as permissive as a lot of people seem to believe it is. Fair use doesn't... A lot of people think fair use just means that you use it in a way that does not infringe upon the profits of the original product. But keep in mind, it needs to be critical of the original product too. If you're making a YouTube video and the scene where the video game guy climbs a ladder and you play that one song from the Metal Gear Solid, What a Thrill, that's not really fair use. It's funny, but it's not really fair use. It's not really transformative or critical. You're just invoking it, like you're just referencing it. But that's not fair use. The thing is, fair use is a legal defense in court, but most of the time, copyright claims and discussions don't go to court from YouTube. Let me give you a basic breakdown of how it works, okay? On YouTube, you have a copyright content ID system. If you have content you don't want copyrighted, you feed that content into YouTube's copyright content ID algorithm, okay? Let's say I release an album, okay? I'm dropping the hippity hop beats. And I take that, I record it, and I drop it into the copyright content ID. Now, here's what happens, okay? Now, anytime somebody else gives my hippity hop beats, anytime anyone else drops them, in a YouTube video, anytime that music gets played anywhere else, it will automatically, if YouTube detects it, it will automatically be copyright claimed, which can mean a demonetization, or it can mean the funds from that video get transferred over to the copyright holder of the infringed content, right? And what happens then is if you wanna, you can challenge that copyright claim. You can challenge that automatic copyright claim. And what that does is it essentially YouTube facilitates a legal conversation between you and the entity that is responsible for the media that you copyright, that you used. And it's basically a game of, what do you call it, Red Rover? Or is it, you're playing chicken? It's where whoever breaks first loses. You say, no. This use of music is fair use. No. I have a right to use this. This is fine. I'm using it to critique or whatever. And then the company that owns the material you used, they can call your bluff. And if they call your bluff, you can get striked, which has pretty severe consequences for your channel. And if you rebuke that, they take you to court. And then you get to use that fair use argument in a legal setting where there are real consequences to being wrong. The thing is, fair use is not as permissive as YouTube allows it to be. Most of the time, the reason why y'all don't go to court over these issues is because it's not worth it for the corporation to take you there. The corporations wanted to. A lot of people, a lot of YouTubers you like Video Game Donkey. A lot of other ones, they could go to court and they'd lose. They'd lose badly. And they could go to jail and they could lose a lot of money too. This system's deranged, but it's the system we live with. The only reason YouTube and Twitch are able to function is because of the DMCA laws, which means that essentially they themselves, the corporation of YouTube, can't be sued for hosting copyrighted material as long as they exhibit a good faith effort to clean up their platform of copyright abuse. Hence, YouTube's entire fucking system. Hence, Twitch, which will audio fuck with your VODs if you play music, or sometimes now they'll just delete your VODs. Twitch will now just delete your VODs and ban you. There was a guy recently who got banned for a month because of a VOD 5 years old where music was playing. Or like 5 years? It might have even been further. They had to delete all their VODs, 5 years of content. You know how devastated I'd be if I had to delete all the videos I've made? Up to 5 years? It's like your whole life gone. Because you played a song back then, and some enterprising corporation decided to strike you for it. Safe harbor has kept them from getting the $1 billion settlement that IPs had to pay. It's a very complicated system. And frankly, I'm not even doing it justice in my very limited discussion. The guitarist of Dragon Force got banned off Twitch for playing Through the Fire and Flames. Yeah, it's a bad system for what I do. It's a bad system for what YouTube and Twitch facilitate. But the issue here genuinely isn't so much with YouTube and Twitch as it is with copyright law in general. Copyright law is really fucked. If you want to know more about that, there's a Tom Scott video on it that's really interesting. What is it called? YouTube copyright isn't broken, copyright law itself is. It's something like that. It's a really big video. It's very scary too, especially for somebody like me, because you realize that my career and the career of pretty much every YouTuber and Twitch streamer exists in a legal loophole, a legal black hole, a legal void, where we're in a position where as long as Twitch and YouTube are demonstrating enough good faith effort to remove copyrighted content, they can't be held responsible, because if they're ever held responsible, they're nuking all of us. They're not paying that money. But we also are relying on the generosity of these programs to allow us to facilitate resolutions which don't involve us getting sued by these corporations and blasted into court. So we're like in a really, tentative position. But we're also the bedrock of modern culture. I'll tell you this, folks. If these changes go through and YouTube and Twitch disappear the way they would if this happened, there's going to be a lot of public backlash. But what is public backlash going to do against something as nebulous and complicated as copyright law? Average Americans wouldn't even know it's copyright law. Some average Americans wouldn't even realize that it wasn't just YouTube and Twitch. They would probably just think it's the companies. They probably wouldn't even realize what the underlying problem is. There are legitimate uses for copyright law. I don't like it when lefties say there's no uses for it at all. I have a deep interest in art. I like art a lot. Drawings. I love illustration. Comics. If you're a young artist, a young, fresh-faced artist, you need copyright law, because if you don't, your shit can be yoinked. At the end of the day, the ability to profit off of intellectual property is largely based off how much you've already invested in infrastructure, which allows you to produce that material. You really think it would be cool if you did a sick drawing, and then the nanosecond you did it, every corporation on the planet started printing comics of it? You could literally, this could happen without copyright law. You could write a comic, like an indie comic, and somebody could pick it up. They already do that. The companies that do that presently do that in a loophole, and they are often accosted for doing so. Can you imagine if you made an indie comic and then the next day you saw DC Comics publishing it? Just publishing it. They take your name off, of course. They just publish all the content. They put a new name on that, their chief editor. They put the name of the person who bought your comic and brought it over to the scanner. That'd be pretty cool. No, it wouldn't. I think small artists and business owners should be able to protect their intellectual property from theft from massive megacorporations, which can quickly and easily profit off of other things. There are companies that do this. There are a lot of foreign t-shirt manufacturing companies that will just print anything on anything. And that is a problem. We don't want to make that the norm. The problem is right now, yeah, exactly. Like you say, copyright isn't about protecting artists from theft of their work. It's about protecting mega corporations and their intellectual property until the end of time to prevent anyone else from profiting off of that. Here's the world I want to live in, okay? When copyright dies on a given intellectual property, that's when you really open up the door to creativity, What's a universe you guys like? Harry Potter. I fucking hate Harry Potter. I despise Harry Potter. So you know what I would love to do? I would love to write a comic, a manga, in the Harry Potter universe, and it's edgy, and it's aggressive, and J.K. Rowling would never sign off on it. And the opening panel is some troll thing, and it pisses in the snow, and his 162-degree Fahrenheit piss melts fuck J.K. Rowling into the snow. And then a comic XP of someone who looks like J.K. Rowling comes along and trips in it and falls in the piss snow. And you know what? I can't do that right now because I'd get sued for making a show in the comic in the Harry Potter universe. But if the copyright expires on Harry Potter, then you can make a story about Harry Potter. You can write a story about that and go out with it. You have stories like Twilight. Twilight was originally... What was it? Was it Harry Potter fan fiction? No, what was Twilight was something. Was it Harry Potter fan fiction? 50 Shades of Grey was Twilight fan fiction. That's it. That's the thing. 50 Shades was Twilight fan fiction. Because after the fan fiction got big enough, she wanted to actually sell it, but you can't do it if it's actually in the Twilight universe, because then... The point that I'm getting at here is copyright's complicated, but right now things are incredibly fucked up, and my profession and the profession of a lot of people you all rely on and respect is incredibly tentative and relies on the population being at least a little bit defensive of our ability to engage in the good faith use of copyrighted material. Because if you start speed copyright striking every copyrighted thing, I have art prints behind me. Now, albeit these came from individual artists who aren't cunts, but you want to go far enough with stuff. Am I using these for commercial purposes? Ask yourself, the art behind me, am I using it for commercial purposes? Of course, using something for commercial purposes that's not actually a requirement for it being or not being fair use. But if somebody wanted to be cunty, they can really fuck with you using copyright law. They can really fuck with you. You can also see situations, too, where corporations start striking people selectively. That would be interesting, wouldn't it? What if it's not every YouTuber who gets striked, but you have these corporations say, hey, all these YouTubers, let's take Nintendo, because fuck Nintendo. You take these YouTubers, dozens, hundreds of them. They play Mario, Zelda, whatever. And everyone's having fun. Some of these YouTubers, though, they get a little critical of Nintendo for their anti-consumer practices. And then, oh, sorry, mister, back in 2017, you actually played the Song of Storms on a wind flute in one of your videos there. That's you don't own that song, bucko. Let's take a look at your bank account, because we're taking you to court, motherfucker. It can be a chilling effect, and it gives corporations a lot of power that I don't want them to have. So, yeah, I'm rambling. Fuck this law. Fuck copyright law. The way it is currently invoked, very cringe. Not good. Clothing designs are copywritten, take it off. Yeah, have I paid the manufacturer? MeUndies made this shirt. Actually, I have done enough free advertisement for MeUndies that I think I'm legally allowed to do whatever I want with their stuff. Take off your clothes. Unfortunately, my naked body is copyrighted as well. I sold the rights to, I can't think of a funny end for this joke. Maybe a smarter person could. It's ad-libs. Finish it yourself in the comments. Yeah. Yeah, I see, Hyena. Thank you.